Hi, welcome. Thank you for joining me. Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist here. Let's see. Oh, yes, I'm definitely here. Fabulous. Thank you for joining me. Today we're coming up to real serious, emotional, crazy world because we're coming up to Christmas and there's so much going on around us in the world right now, but also we're a little bit edgy. Some people are exhausted and emotionally drained from our year, not knowing about what's happening next year, but also where did this whole year go? And where did this whole year go? And today we're actually talking about spending money on things you love most, and by doing it guilt-free, because we know with Christmas that we can spend so much on certain things and people can be going to us. So thank you for joining me. Let's crack on with this. Let me know if you're here live or if you're here watching a replay, and where you are in the world would be fabulous. So, how to guilt-free spend money on things you love most. Does that make you feel ick? Because this is actually massive. You may not know, but this is probably even bigger than what you thought it was. I talked about it. I talked about it earlier in the week about putting yourself first, and this is so true. This is absolutely true to my heart about putting yourself first over others. We talked about putting your own oxygen mask on first. We talked about filling your cup, all these little things that you can do. This is about being guilt-free and getting through these times, but not just in Christmas times, any particular time. Oh, Andrew, hey, thanks for coming. We're talking about, I'm not talking about getting your hair done and there's no food in the house. I'm not talking about starving the people around you because you want to go out and go on the booze or do whatever you want to do and actually can't afford the home life. I'm not talking about that, because what do they say? They say you have a champagne lifestyle on a bare salary. I know that was one of my things when I was younger, and I remember my parents saying that to me, Deborah, you've got a champagne lifestyle on a bare salary. And I went, wow, I'm not going to change my champagne lifestyle, so I need to up my bare salary to a champagne salary. So these are the little things. So I'm not talking about that sort of stuff. I'm talking about doing something for you that fills you up and spending that money on whatever, guilt-free, being okay with what you've spent it on. I'm also not talking about holding back secrets either, because I'm going to spend this on this, but I'm not going to tell my partner, I'm not going to tell my kids, I'm not going to tell my work colleague or anything like that. I'm not talking about secrets, because secrets aren't healthy for you. When I talk about when was the last time you did something for you, I'm talking about something, whatever it is. It doesn't necessarily have to be money. It can be something. I talked to a couple of friends this morning. It can be, doing something for you. It can be a picnic in the park or on the front lawn or anything like that. I'm actually going to talk about money, specifically money, but you can do other things that don't cost a lot of money. So if you have guilt from spending money, as you know, or guilt about anything really, as you know, guilt is something that weighs you down. It's incredibly heavy. It affects your body, it affects your emotions, and it affects your day-to-day functioning, and in fact your night functioning, because you may not be able to sleep if you've got some guilt going on. So guilt is very, very, very heavy. It's like luggage that you carry around and it just sticks to you. So I'm going to talk about guilt today, about how to clear that. But when we come to guilt-free spending on money that you think are things that you love the most, it's wise to look at who is telling you that you can't do it. For a start, who are these people who are telling you that you can't spend money on things that you love? Are they other people? Because there's two scenarios here. Are they other people, or are they this internal thing going on for you? If they are you, we can deal with it. Absolutely. If they're others, we can deal with it. But if they're others, it's wise to ask yourself, are they important? Are these people who are having this opinion on you spending money, are they important? And if they're important or not, do they actually have a point? Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Okay, you've helped me with something here. So are they important and do they have a point? Because if you're not looking at do they have a point, you're going to sit in a self-righteous, egotistical world that they don't know what they're talking about, any of that sort of stuff. I'm better than them. So drop that crap for a start. So they may be important. They may not be important in your world. But do they have a point? That's actually the key here. Do they have a point? It's wise to be careful because we all have money blocks. Everyone has a money block somewhere. We all have these emotional blocks. Be careful of the stories of other people's money blocks that come into your world. Be cautious of those, that they are their money blocks, or they're their stories that they stay, or their beliefs that they stay with them and they don't attach to you. We all have our own. We don't need other people's stuff attaching to us. So to ask yourself how to deal with this guilt. So let's just say you are going to go to a hairdresser. Let's say you're going to ask yourself the specific question to help you deal with your guilt. You're going to say, how does it serve me if I spend $20 on a hairdresser, or $30 on a hairdresser, or $200 on a hairdresser, or any of that stuff? How does it serve me if I spend money on a hairdresser? And you're going to write down, as many as it takes until you can go, it's actually okay that I can spend this money on the hairdresser. You're then going to ask yourself, how does it serve those people who you think are important? Not the ones who aren't important, those people who you think are important. How does it serve them for me to go to the hairdresser if I spend this money on the hairdresser? Because I know when I go to a hairdresser that I feel so different inside myself, that I have a different energy, a different vibe. I don't have to worry about what this is going on. I also love talking to my hairdresser. I have an amazing hairdresser. I've had some great ones over the time, but I can talk to them about anything and everything and give them some insights as they give me insights. So it's actually a big experience. It's not just go there and get my hair done and walk away. It's actually an experience for us both. So how does it serve you and how does it serve others? Thanks for joining, Leanne. Yay! If you're going to maybe buy something else, so I was talking about this with someone the other day, how does it serve you if you're going to spend $50 on a new dinner set or $100 on a new dinner set? Now, I know when I said dinner set, people went, oh, that's not for me. I don't want that. But if that lights you up and fulfills you, then that is for you. Okay? I'm talking about a dinner set, like people say, don't buy a Hoover to somebody, vacuum cleaner to somebody for Christmas, all that stuff. But if that lights you up and it's going to light that person up, then I'm all for it. Whatever's important and they love and they want. Now, people will be going, wives will be saying, or females will be saying, don't listen to that to the husbands or whatever, the old scenario. If they want a new dinner set and they've talked about this new dinner set, get it for them. Seriously. But if you want to spend that money on a dinner set for yourself, then buy it. Because if you look at that dinner set every time and it lights you up, is that not fulfilling? Every Christmas, every December, we bring out our Christmas plates, and I love getting my food on a Christmas plate. There's just something about it. In fact, in January, I also keep them for December, January. Then they go away. Then they get packed up and go away. But I love seeing that. There's just something about seeing the reindeer on my Christmas plate. If you ask in the comments, I might actually just take a photo for you later. Might just take a photo of my dinner set. So you're actually asking yourself, how does it serve you if you spend money on something? And how does it serve others? Those ones that come in that you think are important. If you're going to buy a new dress, how does it serve you to buy that new dress? How's it a benefit to you? How does it uplift your world instead of saying serve? And how does that enhance other people's world? How does it serve them? How does it benefit them? But only the ones that you think have an opinion on, that you think are valuable for you. It's okay to wear, I'm talking about a new dress, it's okay to wear frumpy clothes, absolutely. But what is your energy saying about yourself if you wear frumpy clothes? If you're going to be frumpy, if I label it frumpy, if you're going to wear that. So if you're going to buy a new dress, go out and buy a new dress. If you want to buy new clothes, buy new clothes. There's a lot of places you don't have to go and buy brand new. You can easily go to other places if money is tight for you. Absolutely. If money's tight for you, you've got a money block. Reach out. I'll give you some tips around that. In fact, I might even do a live about money blocks. If you'd like that, let me know in the comments. So if you want to buy some clothes, there's some great little pages you can borrow off a friend. Go to a friend, say, hey, when you outgrow that, or when you're tired of that, can you flick that my way? Or I'm going to an event this weekend, can I borrow that outfit of yours? What are they going to say? Yes. What are they going to say? No. What happens if you just don't ask? So do things that, this is about doing things that light you up, that makes you feel alive. So money can be spent on things that you desire. Other people will always, always, always have an opinion. Always have an opinion. I had a housekeeper once, and she would come twice a week, and people would go, how can you afford a housekeeper? How can you afford someone to come and cook your meals for you? How can you afford that? And I would find the money for that, because if I cooked a roast meal on a Monday night, I would cook enough that on Saturday night we're still pouring gravy over that roast meal. It wasn't my thing to be in the kitchen and cook. And I'm sure you're cringing at that, but if I had someone come in and cook different meals for my daughter and I, then I'm all for that. And if I can afford that, I'm all for that. And that to me was guilt-free, because getting someone to do that stuff allowed me to stay and do this stuff that is way more inspiring for me, up-levels me, has me in a different vibe, and I can absolutely generate more money in here than in here. So your energy is all about what it is, because the more you do things and the more you have guilt, the more deflated you will be. So that key question is, how does it serve you if you spend on something? And how does it serve those who you think are important only? If you believe this affects others, if you have a joint bank account with someone and you think this affects other people, that you're going to go and spend $20 on something for you and it's going to affect others, then talk to them. Then talk to them about the money blocks that are being stuck inside you and inside them. And they may go, when was the last time you actually spent that money? You might surprise yourself. If they've got money blocks, then there's something going on. But open up and have that discussion. What's the worst they can say? You can't spend that. What's the worst they can say is you can spend that. What if they say yes? What if they say no? Then have an engaging conversation with them about this. There is not to be this banter of saying, well, you went out and bought 3 coffees in a row. So because you bought 3 coffees in a row, I'm going to the hairdresser. That is not what this is about. This is not storing and stacking these things up for score. This is not about this stuff. This is about what you desire to do and what they desire to do, and having that fair exchange between each other. If you need to, have your separate bank accounts. Put a percentage of your pay into yours and a percentage of their pay into theirs, but also have the joint one in the middle. That's okay. So that money's yours to make a decision. You know, put a little bit in a bank account for the children. That a little bit goes in there, a little bit goes in here, a little bit goes in here. Have 10 bank accounts if you need to. Do what serves you for this time. And I'm going to leave you with something which I think is really, really, really important. Are you worth investing in? Are you worth investing in to keep you functioning in this world? It is time to lift your levels and invest in yourself financially, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, whatever you want to call it. It's time to invest in you for you. Others will be able to reap in those rewards. So that is Debz Cooper, over and out, Global Stressologist. Thank you for joining me, to the people live. And I will see you next week with another little goodie topic. Now what am I going to go spend guilt-free on today? Maybe I'll upsize that combo. Woohoo! You know who that's directed at. Thanks, team. I will see you next time. Bye.